Hello there, and welcome back to the shop. Today we'll be making this beautiful little memorial pen. It's got a little cat engraved on it. It's got a little cat on top. Recently, my cat's passed away, and it's taken a lot to make this pen. But it's a wonderful little pen, made with some real special wood. So, in honor of Mr. Kitty, let's get started. So for this pen, we're going to use a wood called Pale Moon Ebony. It is also known as ebony and ivory wood, and it has these beautiful figures in it that kind of makes me think of fur. So that was a selection behind that. We'll just mark it up and get ready to trim down the blank. When I'm working on really important pieces like this, whether it's a pen or a box or some other custom order, it's important to take into account all the way the grains twist and turn and the meaning behind it. See, for me, it was the loss of my pet. Mr. Kitty was to taking those memories and holding them with you every day. Put a little extra meaning in it. Each word. As you can see, that little shiny ring, that's a brass tube. We're going to use that for structure. And just a little show. You can see the brass really good there. Just before we chuck it up on the lathe and really make it spin. And when it's on the lathe, we're going to spin it fairly quickly. We're going to apply pressure and stop. And just time to get it down to shape. This is the final picture. And a link to support me in my works. Maybe find something special for yourself. Dr. Seuss, I believe, who said, sometimes you never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. And I think it was Mr. Kitty who really showed me that couldn't be any more true. From just chilling on the couch with my buddy in my lap, or taking a nap, or fighting the dogs, because he was a big dude. And he could beat up a little chihuahua. And he enjoyed beating up the little chihuahua. But he was also my man. We're just throwing a little shield over that. But as you can see, we've got tuxedo cat there. Just edged into the wood with the laser. It's not a great jig that I use for my laser, but it works. It works okay. If I could find a different jig that worked for my laser, I would get it in a heartbeat. But we're just taking a little cyanoacrylate, basically super glue. It's really, really thin, and we're soaking it in there because we want to make sure that it has some structure and integrity. Hit with a little activator to make sure we don't accidentally glue ourselves to it, and from there we're gonna take a good look at it. And we're gonna mix up a little Aztec gold. This is really cool. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay that in there and pack it in all of that laser engraving. All that work. It took like an hour and a half for that teeny tiny little laser engraving. But it'll all be worth it. And we're just gonna make sure to get each and every last little spot. We don't want to miss any because that'll definitely stand out. But as we're going along, mixing that Aztec gold and packing it in there. From there, we're just gonna let it sit and let that cure. Because from there, we can just go ahead and chisel and kind of smooth it out. Take out all the extra, so we're left with just the laser. Well, it's just like turning a pen to the beginning. We're real careful. We can take a little activator just in case, and we're real careful. We can just shape it to where it needs to be. Samuel Johnson is important. He wants a true art of memory is the art of attention. That's extra true, I think. Because you can't really have memories if you're not paying attention. You have vague memories or recollections, but the things that you want to cherish, friends, family, your hobby, your pets, those are the things that you really have to pay attention to and give your undivided attention to. Other things, I don't know, possibly work or menial tasks, you don't really have to give that your 110% attention. But you do need to make sure that the important things are well remembered and well attended to in the meantime. But now that we've got it turned down, we're just going to shape the pen. Take a little bit of micro mesh and a little bit of sanding. Now, sanding is probably the longest, most tedious part. You start at 120 grit and work your way up, and I like to increase the speed of the lathe every 2 or 3 different grits, but that's just me. And we sand a little left and right, up and down, to make sure we take out any circular swirl marks. And that's really kind of important because that'll show up in the final finish and it'll look a little goofy. It's fine and it's still strong, but it doesn't necessarily look as well as you want it to. So with that, we'll just kind of buff all those tiny circular scratches out from the sandpaper. And we'll just make sure that everything is as smooth as it could possibly be. Because this is important, so I don't mind taking an extra hour or two. But from there, after we apply a CA finish, is when we get to wet sand. And that too takes a pretty significant amount of time. And what we'll do is we'll start off at 600 grit, plenty of water, and slowly work our way up to 20,000. And it's a tedious process, but it's a great way to really make the pen sharp. And a good sanding means that the pen is going to last a really long time. I had Mr. Kitty for like 15 years. He was my buddy. Hughes will go through a lot. He was always by my side. I want this pen to last, well, forever and ever. I mean, I want every pen I make to last forever, but this one's special. I don't always make sense with this. And slowly we'll just start to wax. This is the final step. I use a 3-2-1 process. 3 coats of one wax and 2 coats of a slightly more efficient wax, and then 1 final coat of ceramic paint. Just like if you were to get your card last night polish that polish. And we'll put the wax on, and then we'll take it off. But from there we really need to pay attention to the final details. We have to cut all the extra CA off and then sand it flat and flush. This is really important, because if it's not, when we press the pen together, it'll break or crack, or it just won't go in together right. So we'll test fit each piece, and I like to keep everything wrapped up in the side. And as we start to assemble it, we can put it in the pressing jig and press everything together. We use a lot of leverage to get that done. A lot of leverage and a lot of strength, and you can get a pen together no problem. And once we work that little pen together, we get all the final pieces in place as all those memories come crashing together. And we can drop the spring, of course. Then all those memories come together. We got Mr. Kitty lasered there in gold on an ebony, ivory, pale moon ivory pen with little cats all the way around it and a beautiful polish. It's something else. And these are just a couple little glamour shots where you can really see the pen in all its glory and detail. And it means a lot to me. But if you liked what you saw, please do like and subscribe. It means the world to me. And Mr. Kitty.